Hey everyone, this is Sean McDonald with Quiet Waters Realty Group. Today we have the privilege of sitting down with Rollie Swanson, an agent on our team who's crushing it in his first full year as a real estate agent. If you find anything in this video helpful, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us for more information. We love helping other agents be successful and sharing some of the keys to success that we've experienced. Rollie, thanks so much for sitting down today and talking with us about your new career in real estate.
Yeah, absolutely. Super excited to do it.
So before this, in a previous life, you were active duty Marine, Infantry Officer. So when that came to a close, like what initially made you, want to decide to pursue a career in real estate?
Yeah, so I spent 12 years on active duty, and in that time we PCS'd, between the East Coast and West Coast a few times, and we purchased a house every time we moved. Some of them we sold, some of them we held on to and rented, and then eventually sold. So while we were doing that, I was starting to learn a little bit about the real estate game and what real estate can do for your future and to further your investment. So we came to a decision point when I was at my 12-year mark where my wife is on active duty as well and a little bit further ahead and closer to retirement. So we thought that was a good time to, really pop smoke and figure out something to do. And real estate seemed like the next most logical path. I enjoy it. There's a lot of, characteristics that I, have through being a Marine and an infantry officer in the Marine Corps that translate. And it just seemed like an awesome next step.
Yeah, and so we'll dig into the numbers a little bit more for just some of the success you've been having in real estate, and you mentioned it a little bit, but what kind of skills, did translate into this new career? Obviously the shooting, the maneuver warfare theory, maybe you can apply some of that, but what skills from your time in the Marines really set you up well for this new career?
I think the ability to maintain and grow relationships and then communicate clearly to people. A lot of what I did and what you did when you were in is communicating and setting expectations when you have a certain problem set in front of you. And a lot of that translates over to the real estate business. It's also very data driven. I feel like I have a pretty good handle on that. Spent time while I was in the Marine Corps getting a master's degree in project management and looking at a lot of the data and more analytical type side of the business, and then use my career in the Marine Corps to really focus in and do better on building relationships and communicating clearly to people.
Cool. So I don't know if you're familiar with these stats, but just to kind of dig into the numbers a little bit more, the average, according to the National Association of Realtors, the average agent in North Carolina did 12 transactions in 2022, and you have already closed 18 and are on pace to do several more before the end of this year, over 6 million in volume. So first off, congrats on your success this first full year of being an agent. But to dig into kind of some of the tactics and stuff that you've implemented, like what have you done to generate leads and clients? Like what has worked for you this year?
So I made sure that I maintain a schedule. So transitioning from the Marine Corps to being a civilian and being my own boss, it was important for me to make sure that I still have a schedule to stick to maintain some personal discipline. We all think that we have it, spending so much time in the military, and then very quickly after me getting out and being on my own, I realized that I'm gonna have to put a little bit more effort into it because it's easy to fall into some old habits. So maintaining a schedule is crucial for me. And really what I did and still doing here in my first year is finding what works. So tons of different areas of focus for lead generation and how I communicate with people, but I continue to refine that, and I take a time, once or twice a month to reflect on what's working and what isn't and make adjustments. And so far it's been paying off, and I'm excited for the future and excited to continue to grow.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so talking about that a little bit, I know you balance a lot, your awesome husband to your wife who works full time, you got 3 kids, how do you kind of structure your days to keep keep everything kind of in balance with work and family?
Yeah, it's been a huge adjustment. So my wife is an active duty Marine. She's been in for about 16 years. As I mentioned, I was in for 12, and that was just our steady state for a long time. You know, dropping the kids off at daycare, and then depending on who had to stay late at work, you know, what days depended on who was picking the kids up from daycare and who was really filling that function. Now that I am doing this full time, my schedule has opened up tremendously. So it's a true blessing to be able to spend a lot more time with the family and build stronger relationships with our kids. But it's also a huge weight off of our shoulders, knowing that if my wife has to deploy or go to the field, or I mean, you understand the uncertainty about being in the military. We're covered. You know, we don't have to jump through our butt to find a babysitter, or you know, have parents come in to watch the kids. So we're extremely blessed in that standpoint. One thing that really drew me to real estate is the fact that I'm my own boss and I make my own schedule, and that sounds really good and that briefs really well, but a lot of times that means, you know, you're always working. Rather than 9 to 5, you're kind of on 24/7. But a good thing that I can do is I can make that schedule, especially during the day, and I prioritize my family and my kids, and I make sure that from a professional standpoint, you know, I manage my time appropriately so that we can continue to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So typically, do you find that, like, what activities as an agent are you doing, like, in the morning versus, you know, how do you kind of structure your, like, work time as an agent to, like, maximize on that productivity so that you can be, you know, fully present with your family?
Yeah, so what I found that works best for me is that my mornings are to me. I, you know, get the kids ready, bring them to school. I take care of myself. I PT. I do all the chores that I need to. In the morning, it's generally more of a slow time with me and my interactions with clients. And then as I get into the afternoon, that's when a lot of my communication starts. That's when I schedule a lot of home showings if we have to do that, or work type activities. May not work for everybody, but for me and my family situation, spending the mornings with them and taking care of the things that I need to personally, and then transitioning to real estate has worked well, and something that I'll continue to do.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome, and a great balance and structure for sure. I found that you need, in a job where there's no one's telling you have to be at a certain place at a certain time, like, the more structure you can put and give yourself, the better it's going to be. But so on that kind of, like, what advice, so you've been in this industry for a little over a year now, like, what advice do you have for new agents that are just getting started, like, today as a real estate agent?
So a lot of the success that I had in the very beginning was just reaching out to people that I know, or people that are within my sphere of influence. A lot of the business that I have been able to do and see other agents do is with people that they know, like, and they trust. So my advice would be to really don't be scared, don't be nervous about reaching back out to people and letting them know what you do. And dive right in. It takes a little bit to get some business going, but as long as you can take a step back, be pragmatic about it, and understand what works and what doesn't work for you, and make adjustments, you know, anyone can be successful in this business.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for the time today and sharing some of your story and some of your keys to success. And yeah, look forward to the future.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more helpful content. Please follow us so that we can continue to produce some content and hopefully add more value to our industry.